Hello, everyone. It's Mel Daddy. I'd like to greet you this afternoon, and I would like to say it's good to be alive. And I know you feel the same way because if you weren't, you wouldn't be watching me right now. But let me say this to you. I was thinking earlier today about a few ideas, terms, concepts. And one idea or concept or term came across my mind. And I thought about it. And what I came up with was appreciation. Why did I think about appreciation? Was it something that I did in contrast to appreciation? Or is it something that I observed that demonstrated appreciation? Or was it something that I observed that was contrary to appreciation? Was the appreciation or the unappreciation directed to me? Was the appreciation directed to a loved one? Was there something that was going on in my mind where I was negotiating if I did something right or if I did something wrong? Or did I have a question concerning what I did? Well, I know what appreciation is, and I know what appreciation isn't. Let me say this to you. When someone says that he or she appreciates you, you have to be careful about believing what that person is saying to you, for the simple fact that oftentimes people's actions and reactions are contrary to what they say. So, in other words, like Jesus said, listen to what the Pharisees say. Listen to them because they are right in what they're talking about. Do what they say, but don't do as they do. Because what they say is contrary to what they do. For they are hypocrites. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters. Look, we all play the hypocrite every now and then. So no one can point the finger at anyone. Because once you point a finger at someone, you got many fingers pointing back at you. When you tell someone you appreciate them, you're supposed to demonstrate that by showing your gratitude. Because I'm not perfect and because I am human, and I don't consider myself as being a thorough person, because when people call themselves thorough, they get into a fine line of thinking that they're perfect and they say they're thorough. They say they're thorough, but they really mean that they think they're perfect, but they don't want to say that to you. And at the same time, what they're doing, they're negotiating that in their mind, knowing that they're not perfect, but they're going to say they're thorough. So when it's convenient, when you're doing something and there's a shortcoming and concerns to you, then they want to point out the shortcoming. But when it comes to the person opposite of you, that person does not want you to point out his or her shortcoming. And you have to watch out for people like that. because those kind of people will hurt you. They will make you think that they have your best interests at heart, when all along that person is either self-centered or selfish. And there's a difference between the two. And I'll go into that in our next video, because sometimes people can be self-centered but not selfish, but can be selfish and self-centered, or selfish and not self-centered. But getting back to appreciation, when you appreciate someone, you don't argue with that person. You may have a debate, but you don't argue in terms of an argument where there's foul language involved, very nasty gestures concerning the argument, violent behavior. That does not demonstrate appreciation. What it demonstrates is a fine line between going off and being crazy. So and understand this. We all are capable of doing things that may demonstrate that you or I or you are crazy. But let me say this to you. We are all, I'm not going to say we're mentally ill, but we have thoughts that go through our mind. I don't care how it gets there, but it goes through your mind. But I'll tell you how it gets there. It gets there through your gates. This is your eye gate, or this is the gates for your eyes. Where's the gate? The gate is closing them. If not closing them, making sure you don't look at certain things that will come into your mental and impact your psychological, which will allow you to demonstrate the type of behavior that's ill. Mental illness comes from thoughts that you generate in your mind, and people become mentally ill and are known to be mentally ill because they demonstrate those behaviors that were related to the thoughts that they allow to pass into their minds from opening their gates. You have your ear gates. You have your eye gates. You have your gate of feeling, a touch. You know what, if you felt it before, you know what it is. Right? If you taste it before, you know what it is. You know it's alcohol that you're drinking. You don't see it, but you know you're drinking it because you've tasted it before. And you've said to yourself and other people, you're not going to do that anymore. If you know you're drinking alcohol and you know you're not supposed to, you stop. How do I know the difference between alcohol and another type of beverage? Because I've tasted alcohol before. You cannot fool me. When I was 16 years old, I've tasted alcohol even before I was 16. Sure, born and raised in Philadelphia. I did things behind my parents' back, on my parents' backs. So they didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything off the wall, but I was doing things that boys and girls, children weren't supposed to do under the age of 18. And I was well under the age of 18. I was well under the age of 16. Well, actually, I was 16. I was either 16 or 15. I went over to a friend's house. Well, actually, I was with a friend, and we went over to his aunt's house. And his aunt had just graduated from medical school. And it was myself, it was two friends. One friend was the nephew of the aunt, and the other friend was a friend of the friend that was a friend to me. So we were all friends. So we were there. There was a party for the aunt because she had just graduated from medical school. To make a long story short, there was watermelon. I love watermelon. I love some watermelon. Just like I like other fruits. I do particularly like watermelon. And watermelon is good for you. But in this instance, I had some watermelon. And it was good. In fact, it was getting too good. And I said to my friend, I said, look, let me say something to you. He said, what? I said, this watermelon has alcohol in it. He said, man, get out of here, man. No watermelon have any alcohol in it. I said, yes, it does. I said, let me tell you something. I know alcohol when I taste alcohol. He's like, man, you crazy. I said, look, ask somebody. And if they're going to be honest, they will tell you, that person will tell you that it's alcohol in the watermelon. He said, well, if it's alcohol in the watermelon, how did it get there? I said, I don't know, but I'm telling you, alcohol is in that watermelon. So my friend, he said, you know what, let me go ahead and say something to somebody so I can get him out of my hair. So he went over to his aunt and he said, listen, I'm not trying to be funny, but my boy says it's alcohol in the watermelon. There was a pause. And she looked and she said, oh, y'all had some watermelon? And I said, yeah. She said, yes, it is alcohol in the watermelon. His mouth dropped. I said, I told you there was alcohol in that watermelon. So I say all that to say this. You know when something is what it is, as opposed to something that is not what it is. You know that as well. But I say it's not what it is because you're trying to convince yourself that it isn't when it is. So you have to protect your gates. Because whatever you look at, whatever you smell, let me tell you something about the smell too. Whatever you smell, you eat. So be careful going into certain bathrooms. Because you can taste what you smell. So they say, oh, smell. No, I don't want to smell that. Because I know, why you think they call it ENT? Ear, nose, and throat doctor. It's all connected. So you gotta be careful. When you smell something bad, make sure you don't keep on smelling it, because before you know it, you're gonna be tasting it. All right? But getting back to appreciation. When you appreciate someone, you accept them. And if you can't accept that person, then you have one or two things to do. And I'll say a friend of mine, this is what she says. You can either buy it or leave it on the shelf. So if you can't buy into this person and what this person represents, then let that person go. But don't leave that person on for like 2 years and find all these things that are wrong with this person and then let the person go. That's not right. It's not right. It's not love. It's not unconditional love. But if you say you were in love with this person and you had love for this person as it pertains to eros love, meaning that passionate intimacy of love, and all of a sudden you want to let this person go, that's not right, because what comes around goes around. So if you put hardship in a person's life, then you can best believe that adversity will come to you. So be careful how you treat people. So when you say you appreciate someone, know what you're saying. And when someone tells you, I appreciate you, then you have to say, okay, you appreciate me? So let me say this to you. Since you appreciate me, I don't expect you to use any foul language when you're talking to me, because these are things that have happened in the past. So you're talking to someone to let that person know if they really appreciate you or not. So the next time they want to argue with you, or the next time they want to use foul language or be disrespectful, they have to face self. They have to face self and say to self, do I really appreciate this person? Sometimes you can't appreciate someone because you don't appreciate yourself. And it starts with you. If you can't appreciate yourself, how are you going to appreciate other people? It's almost like love and respect. It starts with self. It starts with you. Well, that's my time. And remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this video. And make sure you hit the bell icon. And with all that being said, it's been a pleasure conversing with you. I hope everything goes along smoothly for you in your life. And if it doesn't, I hope you have friends that can be a comfort and a support to you. But until then, I'd like to thank you again for spending this time with me. And I want you to take care. Be blessed. May the good Lord keep you, and may heaven smile upon you. I'll talk to you soon when I bring on another one. Bye for now.